Hello, Tyclone here, and today I will be doing a deck profile of my Quasar Morphtronic deck. So let's get started. Alright, first off we have one Exodius, the ultimate Forbidden Lord. He just resets the deck. I burned through the deck really quick, especially with Morphtronic Celfon. He also goes well with Star Eater. Because Exodius special summons himself whenever he resets the deck, you can instantly make Star Eater with another level 1 tuner. It's very useful, especially for beating down your opponent or getting over a tough monster. Next, we run one Dragon Ruler of Boulders, Redox. He's very useful for bringing back TG Hyper Librarian or Formula Synchron that somehow died. Since you have a lot of Earth targets in this deck, you can easily special summon him or revive a monster from the graveyard with this effect. And because of that, you can easily summon Draccossack and Big Eye with Powerful Dragon. Next, we run 3 Staplens. Staplen is very useful for 2 reasons. One, it's an Earth level 4 Morphtronic monster. Second, its effects are very good. In defense position, it can't be destroyed by battle, and if it's attacked, it goes to attack position, while one of your opponent's monsters goes to defense position. And in attack position, none of your opponent's monsters can attack any other monster except for Morphtronic Staplen. So you have 2 Staplens on the field, and in attack position, your opponent can't attack at all. Next, we have our 2 Morphtronic Slingen. I found that running him at 3 is too much because you'll tend to draw him too often, and there aren't many ways to get rid of him once he's in your hand. You'll mainly want to bring out Slingen through Celfon's effect. Slingen's effect is as follows. When it's in attack position, you can tribute a Morphtronic monster to destroy a card on the field. This is very useful for clearing your field, especially with Morphtronic Celfon, because you'll special summon 3 of them onto your side of the field with Machine Duplication, and then you have 3 Morphtronic Celfons on your side of the field. This is when you run into space issues on your field. You'll pretty much have occupied all 5 monster card zones with Celfon's effect, and if you can't immediately synchro summon into TG Hyper Librarian or Formula Synchron, you'll most likely want Slingen on your field because you can tribute a Morphtronic monster, clearing up your field for more plays, and destroy a card on the field, which can help keep down your opponent. Overall, you should run Slingen at 2 because you don't want to draw him, but it's still a very good card. Next, we have 2 Boomboxens. Boomboxen is really only in this deck because it's a level 4 Morphtronic Earth type monster. You rarely utilize Morphtronic Boomboxen's effect, but most of the time if you do, you'll summon him in attack position because he can attack twice per turn, which allows you to dish out 2,400 damage with 1 monster. Next up, we have our 3 Morphtronic Scopens. Morphtronic Scopen is really good. You can make instant level 7 synchro plays with this card. All you need is another level 4 Morphtronic monster in your hand, and you rerun 7 of those. So, the other reason why I run him is because with Celfon, you can special summon him in defense position. And in defense position, Morphtronic Scopen is a level 4. So, you can special summon your level 5 synchro monsters, TG Hyper Librarian, and Catastor. Next, we have 2 Remotens. Remoten is really good, especially with Saber Gottoms. Saber Gottoms says that it can be synchro summoned with 1 tuner and 1 or more Earth monsters, not Earth non-tuner monsters, which means you can use 3 level 3 tuner monsters to special summon Saber Gottoms, provided that they're Earth type. And this is perfect for Remoten because you can special summon 3 of them with Machine Duplication. I only run 2, unfortunately, so you can't do that with my build. I'm not exactly quite sure why I only run 2. But Remoten's good for its effect. In attack position, you can banish a monster in your graveyard, or Morphtronic monster in your graveyard, and then add a Morphtronic monster from your deck to your hand, the same level as the monster you banished. Morphtronic Remoten is really good to add Discard Father for Redox and D.D.R, as well as Morphtronic Repair Unit. I run 3 Morphtronic Lantrons. You can probably get away with 2, but I find it vital to bring it out as soon as possible with Morphtronic Celfon to sync for Formula Synchron. Next, we run 3 Morphtronic Celfons. You can't run any less than 3. This is mandatory for this deck to work. Morphtronic Celfon, it's the star of the deck. He's what makes Quasar so easy and possible. Next, we run 1 D.D. Sprite. D.D. Sprite is really useful because a lot of the time you'll fill up your field with 5 monsters and you'll have to get rid of one of them. And so D.D. Sprite basically allows you to banish any card on your side of the field to special summon it, and it's a level 1 tuner, so you can instantly seek for Formula Synchron or TG Hyper Librarian. Next, we have Morphtronic Vacuumen. This card's mainly for Draccossack against Dragon Ruler since I built this deck in September. So this card in defense position goes all relinquished and can absorb one of your opponent's monsters and equip it to him. But now that Draccossack isn't so prevalent, you might want to consider taking Morphtronic Vacuumen out. Next we have 1-for-1. 1-for-1 is very useful for bringing out Morphtronic Celfon. You have to bring out Morphtronic Celfon as soon as possible, and 1-for-1 really helps with that. Next we have 1-for-1. I'm considering taking 1-for-1 out because I don't like giving my opponent a plus, but this deck struggles a lot with draw power, so 1-for-1 is very useful for that and also stalling. Next we run 3 Junk Box. Junk Box is very vital to this deck. It's basically a monster born for Morphtronic, so you should run 3. Next we run 1 Morphtronic Accelerator. I find this much better than Magical Mallet or something like that. Basically you return 1 Morphtronic monster that's dead in your hand to your deck, and then you get to destroy a card on the field and draw a card. So it's pretty good, but I found that at 2 or 3, it just got too cloggy in my hand and I kept drawing it and it kept being dead. So 1 is fine. Next we have Reasoning. Reasoning is really good in this deck because this deck relies a lot on speed and bringing out your monsters fast. You run a lot of level 1s, some level 3s, some level 4s, and even a level 7. So there's a very low likelihood of your opponent correctly guessing the level. In addition, Reasoning clears the deck of unnecessary spells. Basically, you reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal monster cards, so all these spells will be sent to the graveyard. This increases the chance that you hit monsters with Morphtronic Celfon's effect. Next I run 3 Machine Duplication. I find it necessary at 3. You want to draw into Machine Duplication as soon as possible, because with Celfon, once you have 3 Celfons on the board, you've pretty much already summoned Quasar. So, I find that running him at 2 or 1 decreases the likelihood of you drawing it and slows down the combo. And even if it is dead, like mid-game, when some of your Celfons are in your graveyard, you can still use it on things like Lantron or Remoten. And then I run 1 Iron Call. Iron Call, primarily for reviving Formula Synchron, but it also works with other Morphtronics. I'm thinking about taking it out because of Soul Charge. Iron Call isn't so good anymore. I run 2 Upstart Goblins for the draw power. Next I run 1 D.D.R. D.D.R is really good to special summon any of my banished Morphtronic monsters that I just banished with Morphtronic Remoten or Redox, the Dragon Ruler. So, D.D.R turns out to be more useful than you would think, since it's searchable by Power Tool Dragon, and it's just really good to speed up the deck. Unfortunately, I find that at 2 or more, it gets cloggy, and you can search it anyway, so running 1 is fine. Next, I run 3 Morphtronic Repair Units. Morphtronic Repair Unit is really good. Basically, you discard 1 Morphtronic monster, special summon 1 Morphtronic monster from your graveyard. It's an equip spell, so it's also searchable by Power Tool Dragon. It makes for some really good plays. It's all about speed with Morphtronic Repair Unit and D.D.R. It just makes the deck so much faster. And of course, we run 1 Shooting Quasar Dragon. Shooting Quasar Dragon is the point of the deck. You're trying to get him out as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, I could not find room for 2, and you rarely summon 2 Quasars anyway, so I just run 1, but now that Soul Charge has been released, I'm considering adding another one. Next, I run 1 Star Eater. Star Eater is very useful in this deck because there are so many ways that you can make it. Exodius and a level 1 tuner, Redox and Scopen in defense position, or even Redox, Remoten, and Celfon. There's just so many ways to make Star Eater, and it's a huge speed stick, so it's very useful. I also run 1 Shooting Star Dragon. Shooting Star Dragon is really good in this deck because if Quasar somehow dies, or if I have a Stardust on the field and a Formula Synchron on the field, I can just make it. It's very useful. Next, I run 1 Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is alright. I don't use it so often, but especially when I have a level 1 tuner and level 7 Power Tool Dragon or Redox on the field, I can just make Stardust. I also use Stardust for protection from destruction effects and to make Shooting Star Dragon. However, it's not the most useful, so you might want to consider taking out Stardust Dragon for a Lifestream Dragon or something like that. Next, I run Black Rose Dragon. You have the capability to make level 7 Synchros very easily, so Black Rose Dragon is an obvious choice. Then I run 2 Power Tool Dragons. Power Tool Dragon is very good. It searches out all your equip spells, and it's very easy to make with all your Morphtronic cards. Next is TG Hyper Librarian. TG Hyper Librarian is a staple in almost every Quasar deck, and this deck is no exception. You synchros them a lot, so you'll get a lot of free draws if you use this card. I also run 2 Ally of Justice Catastor. I run it more because it's a level 5 Synchro monster than just because of its effect. This deck makes Quasar through 2 level 5 Synchro monsters and Formula Synchron, so having the 2 extra level 5 Synchro monsters is vital. Next is Formula Synchron. Formula Synchron is the best level 2 Synchro tuner. You have to use it. Basically just a free draw when you summon it. I also run Mecha Phantom Beast Draccossack. You summon it more than you would think, since you run both Redox and 3 level 7 synchro monsters that you can easily summon. So Draccossack is very good, especially mid-game, where you can put up your defenses and pop cards. I also run Big Eye because it's another great rank 7 XYZ. I run him for the same reason I run Draccossack. Next is Daigusto Emeral. I'm actually going to take him out right now. I thought he would be more useful, but he's not useful at all, and I never really used him, so I'm going to add an Exodius Saber Gottoms. Finally, for our extra deck, we have D.D.R, the Sea Dragon. It's really good with Remoten. You basically can special summon the monster you just banished with this effect. It's great. Next, we have our side deck. Our side deck, well, we don't really run one. We just run a bunch of random cards that I was testing out, but then just took out for better cards. Anyway, our traps, Royal Decree, and Morphtronic Bind. I took these out because they weren't very useful. Morphtronic Bind isn't useful at all because you have other ways to stall, and Royal Decree, I just found that it slowed me down more than the opponent, and your opponent can get around Royal Decree really easily with MST. And once you bring Quasar out, you don't really need like trap stun or anything like that. Then we have limiter removal. I found that limiter removal was pretty bad. It was only used with Spore, Boomboxen, and Catastor, and even then it wasn't good at all. I just took it out. Pot of Benevolence, I don't know what I was thinking. Exodius is 1,000 times better. I mean, Benevolence, it's banished, there's no reusing it, and you minus a lot. So yeah, never lose Pot of Benevolence. Next we have Mind Control. Mind Control is good in pretty much every synchro deck, but I really couldn't find room for him. I mean, he wasn't useful at all the times that I drew him, so I just took him out. D.D.R is another one of those kind of cards. It's good, but it's situational. You keep dead drawing him, and it slows down the deck a bit, so I just decided to take him out. I really wished I could use Synchro, but I mean, I just kept drawing it, and I kept clogging my hand even at 1. Next we have Genix Ally Birdman. I wanted to use Genix Ally Birdman, but he didn't really serve any purpose in the deck. I mean, what are you gonna bounce? Morphtronic Celfon? It just slowed down the deck, and you couldn't, like, sync or anything with Birdman. I thought he would be really good, but he turned out to be pretty mediocre, and he had pretty much no use. We already run 5 level 3 tuners anyway, so he wasn't needed. And now, as you can see, I'm going to update the deck a little bit, added a few soul charges. Not a lot of thought is going into this, but I'm just going to edit it so that it's more compatible with today's meta. So yeah, add a few soul charges and get rid of those Upstart goblins. And I'm going to take out Iron Call too, I think, and to put for another Remoten. Alright, so that pretty much sums it up. So I hope all of you enjoyed my deck profile, and that I provided some insight to how I built this deck. Comment, like, and subscribe. Tyclone signing out.